Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another interview series with the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus. I am your chairman and host, Devontae Jennings, and today you will get to see some of the amazing people that we bring across Georgia, from future leaders to current leaders. But right now, today, we have an amazing person who not only, I wouldn't even consider any type of politician. This is just somebody who purely loves helping people. The type of person you're not going to see him at the things that's all glitz and glamoury and sexy and pretty to be at, but the person that's there doing the hard work where no one wants to be. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Drew Andrews.
Hey, hey, my brother, friend. Hey, everybody.
Brother
Thank you.
man, how we
Right.
doing today? How we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Words couldn't describe it, my brother. How you doing?
Good, good. When it comes to this whole platform we've been launching, somebody like you is definitely somebody I've been really excited for us to get on here. Of course, we've put in work in the streets together, but for those who may be tuning in and don't exactly know who you are, let them know. Let them know who you are.
Hey, I'm Drew Andrews, community organizer, activist, and someone who, um, when you need something, as far as you need somebody to your ride or die, to make sure things happening for the community, you call me. That's it in a nutshell, man.
It's funny you say that because that is like a perfect way I would sum it up like that. Like, you need somebody to be there who ain't gonna bite his tongue. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and gonna speak the truth. It's like, call Drew. I love it, man. I love it. So, before we even dive too deep into this, I kind of want to let people know a little bit about you. And we're gonna start off where I know this is totally off script, but I actually want to know kind of what got you involved in community organizing. And let's just even back it up from the roots, like you're growing up, what it was like for you growing up. So take us from young Drew to OG, triple
Oh, all
OG.
right, man. We going way back. All right. Once upon a time, not long ago, you know. But
You dig?
no, you know, growing up in my community, I grew up eh, like anyone else. During that time, it was a struggle. Although I had both parents in the household, my father was a soldier, and during that time, it was Vietnam, so he was gone a lot of the time. In fact, I remember, uh, honestly, I don't think I met my father until I was like in 5 years old. He was gone that much and for that long. So my mother uh, did a lot of the raising for during my younger years. That's what I remember. And it was awkward for me. A lot of people don't know this. My first name is Herman. And so imagine during that time, uh, and your name's Herman, you have large ears, and you're wearing glasses. So you get picked on a lot. So I learned how to scrap real fast. And because of, my experience, I started taking up for kids who were also being picked on and bullied, back then. So I've been one, looking out for others who not necessarily been able to speak, and stand on their own. So,
Mhm.
I stand with them, and together we're strong. So, fast forward to me graduating high school. Um, in the community growing up, there was not a lot of people going to college where I was from. In fact, my parents had no college. They, high school. I learned my father didn't graduate high school, so I didn't have that support system. So, being of that generation where you turn 18, uh, your parents cut you, they put you out.
Like the
And
old days, you 18, you grown.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and a real plan of what to do next. I did what I thought was best at that time was to join the army. Uh, and as it turned out, that was one of the best choices I made in my life. It helped me grow. I was an introvert, and many who know me now, uh, they don't see that. They really they wouldn't believe it. But
Mhm.
I was an introvert. The military helped me mature, find my inner self, become the leader that I am today. It allowed me the opportunity to face challenges and work with people that really it is a challenge in itself because uh, they really don't like you. You have different life experiences, and it's tough. But the military forces you to work as a team, and so that's what I learned. So I have the ability to work in stressful situations with difficult people
Mhm.
to create something beautiful, and that's what I've been able to do. Uh, I served 21 years in the army. After leaving the army, I turned my focus on community, wanting to do something. I well, let me back up just a tad bit. I was a nurse in the army, so I've always been wanting to help people, help others. But I got burnt out with nursing in the army. So when I got out, I went back to school and got my MBA. Rather than take a, a lucrative job, and
Mhm.
I decided to work for a nonprofit that work with those who are experiencing homelessness. So I utilized that degree, the MBA in marketing, to be specific,
Mhm.
to help in development for that organization. I was the development officer. And so I was able to leverage what I learned in school to help bring in $5 million annually to help with operation and helping to make homelessness, rare and brief. Um, so I did a lot there. I, 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 in fact, I did that for about 14 years. But then I live in Clayton County.
Mhm. Shout out Clayco.
Yeah. So we know the challenges there. And so what I did was I took my talents and I came back to home to Clayton County to put those into action. And so what I've been doing for wow since 2016 really is engaging with the people, empowering the people, uh, through by educating them, let them know who who their elected officials are, their roles and responsibilities, and through that education and empowerment, we hold them accountable. We
Mhm.
set our own agenda, and so that's what I've been doing in the community, and I'm meeting great people like yourself, and we're
Yeah.
starting to unify, and and we're in the middle of a movement right now. People are pissed off. They
Mhm.
they ready and they engaged. They just need to be informed and pointed in a direction that of the polls. Then there's a transformation that's going to happen in Clayton County, man. That's
Mhm.
that's what's happening. But in order to get people to the polls, we gotta they gotta be turned on to turn out. And so that's what, working with you and others in the community, that's what we've been doing. And that's what we continue to do.
And I think it's interesting that you touched on the 21 years in the army, kind of undersold, the stuff that you were doing in other countries. You spoke about development. You've helped on missionary adventures. You seems like community development is literally your key thing. And I know we had a lineup of questions, but I think I want people to go a little bit deeper to see how much you actually do that's behind the scenes. So let's do that with going on track to what are some issues that you see in your community in Clayton County specifically that you want to see change or change yourself?
Wow. Man, it's so vast here in the county. It, it's difficult to just focus in on one, but because you ask, I will.
Mhm.
Right now, it's voter apathy. This last cycle, only uh, only 10% of the those who are registered to vote turned out. So 90% of, let's say, closely 200,000 people who are registered. I, that's a round number. Uh,
Mhm.
90% stayed home. So it's voter apathy. You hit it on the head when you were saying that, I'm not a politician. Politicians aren't liked too much nowadays because you look at the national news, state news, and what's happened locally. People don't trust politicians. You know,
Mm-mm.
they lie to you, they break promises after promises, and you want them to just go away, you know. But what we need to do and what we have been doing, and you've been right there on the front lines, we engaging people. We letting them know, hey, don't give up. We need you to get in the fight because what's happening is you're not voting, but you're voting against your own interest by not showing up. You're upset with these politicians because they continue to lie to you, you know, but
Mhm.
vote them out of office. But see, we have to be informed voters, you know, because just pointing people in the direction of the polls and say, hey, go vote, they putting in the wrong people,
Mhm.
you
So
know,
go deeper on that part. What does it mean to make somebody an informed voter? Because you said not just pointing them to the polls, but making them informed. What do you mean by that?
engaging them, actually have a conversation. You meet them in the salons and the barbershops, just out on the corner, waiting for the bus. Engage each other. Say, hey, brother, sister, how you doing? Engage a conversation, and that way, you kind of find out what it is that their challenges are, and say, hey, by the way, we sitting here, at the bus stop with no seats. We sitting on the ground, or you sitting on the side of a grocery cart.
Mhm.
You know who's responsible for this. You know, uh, you know, uh, our commissioners. People don't know if they live in the city or unincorporated, but our commissioners, these are the people that we need to have conversations with. We need to know, have a relationship with, to get those heated seats, at the bus stops, to get
Mhm.
the sidewalk so we can walk safely back and forth, or the street lights. We need
Mhm.
to know our commissioners, and if they're not doing the job that we hired them to do by electing them, then we need to unelect them. We need to vote them out. But it comes with a conversation. Uh, so people, they only get involved if it resonates with them. You know, uh,
Mhm.
that person, a lot of us now, struggling financially. Many people need rental assistance, but they don't know our county to return millions of dollars that could have went to, people who are struggling.
Mm.
But they don't know because they not been informed, and that's where we need to do that.
Okay. And I hate to be jumping around on you, but there's
Hey,
so much in this interview that like I'm really trying to get because we've had a lot of great conversations just being in the trenches, and I want people to explore your mind. So one thing when it comes to I feel like there's this thing when people run for office that there's this and we've had this conversation, like, we don't have to be enemies when we're, just because we're running for office and stuff like that. I want to hear your take on how do you stay engaged, which I know the answer, but how do you stay engaged in doing the community work when elections don't go your way? Because one thing I can vouch for with you, and we'll touch on as we go on here, after the last election cycle, a lot of people fall off. They pop up during election time, they do the work, and then they fall off. But with you, it's like this continuous drive. So what is fueling the engine behind you for just keeping it going outside of a title?
Well, again, you hit the nail on the head, man. When you run for office, either you doing it because you want to shine, and those are the people who, uh, when they're not elected, you don't see them again, because really it wasn't in them, you know.
Mhm.
But for me, my passion again is the love for my community. See, I talk to my neighbors. When I'm walking on the street, I say hello, you know, and I genuinely care about what's happening in the community. Uh, when my neighbors, shoot, man, for instance, my neighbor hit a pothole, and man, that pothole was so deep, it looked like the whole the tire was caved in a little bit, and so she was saying, hey, these potholes in the road. Um, I'm spending money on my car, and I was like, well, do you know who you need to speak to get that pothole filled in? And she was like, no. And so I educated her on find how to find out. We all know it's Secretary of State, sos.gov. Find out who your commissioners are, you know, and then you reach out to the commissioner, go to the BOC, the Board of Commissioners meetings, and get to know them and let them know your concerns. But that's going back to me doing the work in the community. It's because I have a genuine care and love for the community, and I know that we can do better. We have to be able to elevate Clayton, but we can't if you're not genuinely wanting to help the people, then the people are going to know because they won't see you, or and this you hear this a lot too. I only see people when they want to run. I've never seen this person before, but now I'm seeing them out at different events. You start to question that person, and that's what you should do. You should challenge them, like, "Hey, where have you been?" You know. But uh, like you said, man, I genuinely care and love my community. You stated I was not successful in winning, but I'm still here because there's still issues, and it's all about what you can do before you run. You know,
Mhm.
and see that's what I've been doing. You don't need the position to do the job. I've been doing that. Um, in fact, you need to be. That's how you show that you're the best person for the job. You know,
Mhm.
uh, being able to show some of the wins, some of the movement, some of the collaborations and partnerships that's needed to move and elevate a people. You
This is
know,
what I did without the pool of this elected office. Imagine what I could help do for the community with this.
absolutely, and
Mhm.
that's what it's about, and that's how the people know that you're genuine. Are you are authentic? You know,
Yeah, and I think another thing that I'm highly impressed with, um, you specifically, in not being successful in the election, but even throughout the whole time, you and your opponent, Representative Bell, never, threw under the belt blows. And to the fact of even a couple weeks ago, after the forum, like, all of us were sitting there talking, chopping it up. Like, I like how there's still a level of civilness, and I want that to be something that we could bring back to politics. So how do you think we go about doing that?
By being the example, setting the example. And Eric, we friends. We was friends before we ran, and we
Mhm,
friends today. And that's what it's all about. It, you don't have to declare war on someone. We shouldn't. We shouldn't, man. You know, um, what it's all about is being able to work together. You showing you showing people your body of work. I'm showing them my body of work, and just saying, hey, this is what I've done. I can do more. I need your help. But I'm not
mhm,
going to tear down anybody else, man, because, you know, there's enough of that going on in the world today, man. And that's a distraction. In fact, when someone's trying to tear down someone else, they're trying to deflect their weaknesses.
mhm,
They're hoping
mm,
those who are low informed will fall for that. But what you want to see is someone who is a consensus builder, someone who can, work across the aisles, work with people who don't look like you know, but being able to find the best and the commonality in all of us so we can work together. That's a leader. A leader don't tear down nobody, you know. And like I
mhm,
said, I'm friends with a lot of people, and I don't agree with a lot of folks. Matter of fact, my inner circle, I
mhm,
challenge them. I don't like people who just nod and agree, and move with. No, that's not how you grow. I encourage you to challenge. If I say something and it don't align with your thought, your way of thinking, push back. And we work, we jogged it. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't have any enemies, and I don't ask people to unfriend their friends, to vote for me. But that's what I want people to be careful of. When the first time someone says something sly outside, on the side of their mouth or something, they're deflecting from some type of weakness that they have. But yeah, yeah, we cool. I don't run against people, I run for the position.
mhm. I love that. I love that. So since we haven't, or I haven't seen any announcements made or anything, let's go into a mode and say that you are running for something right now. What would be one thing on your agenda that you would tackle in the county?
Wow. Well, first, I want to address the issue about running. My my focus 100% is educating our people in community in Clayton County, educating them, empowering them so they can hold their elected officials accountable, you know, and become more engaged. Until we get people from that 90% pool into the election, it wouldn't make sense to run. So that's what I'm working on now. Because right now, man, uh,
Mm,
what only like 3,000 people. It's like they voting for homecoming king and queen. Man, we trying to change lives, and build a better community. So we need more people engaged. So that's what I'm focused on. But once I do have that, once I do have the people engaged and turned on to turn out, then I want to focus on some of the other issues, man. Again, there are so many. Let's talk about transparency and accountability.
mm.
That's one. Also, workforce development, the economy. Um, I can talk about that if I don't know where you want which direction you want to go, but
Hey, this your platform. I mean, we gonna go wherever you say we gonna go. It's your platform. Where we going?
okay. Well, I think because most of our people in our community are struggling financially, you hear about what I think the number was like 16,000 at one point, 16,000 people facing eviction. Man, these people, these are neighbors, you know, in our community who are struggling financially because one, they're not making a livable wage. And because they're not making a livable wage, they're stuck in these overpriced apartments and housing where these predators are preying on them to the point where they're working two, three jobs just, to make ends meet. And when it's not meeting, they're being kicked out and they become homelessness. So we need to do a better job with making sure our people are in our community are making one a livable wage. And I do want to talk briefly on my stint with the Development Authority. I was the vice chair, and I was surrounded by a great team of people on the board, where we realized that our economic development depended on human capital. We offer a lot of incentives for businesses, but there was little incentives for the people who actually work and live in Clayton County. So with these great minds that I was surrounded with, I just happened to be their vice chair. And so, uh, you know, I, I had some valuable input. We were able to, one, um, provide partnerships. For instance, one top of mind is with Georgia Power. We developed that relationship with Georgia Power and our Clayton County Public School System. So there's a program for linemen. Man, check this out. Once you complete that program with Georgia Power, you come out and you're making 60,000 a year. Can you imagine you in high school and you graduating, working in this program and coming out making 60,000 a year? Also, while I was at the
Grown people not even hitting 60,000 right now.
no, and our data shows that if you making less than 50,000, man, you struggling for real.
Hard
So
times.
yeah, man, yeah. So that's one thing. We also uh, partner with uh, Construction Ready, and this is an opportunity again for our high school agent high school age to, I believe it's like 23. uh, we had like four cohorts, and each cohort is between 15 to 20
Mhm.
people, and they go through several weeks of this Construction Ready, learn different to learn the trade. And upon graduating, each one of them was placed 100% placed working, at a job making a livable wage. Again, these are our schools. We've gave thousands of dollars. The Development Authority did gave thousands of dollars to CTAE. Again, great partnership with our school. We, as a whole, the Development Authority, we took on the issue of workforce development. Again, understand the need of getting uh, people in Clayton County a livable wage, connect
Mhm.
jobs. So we've been having job fairs a few times. People were hired on the spot, at these job fairs. So uh, we're the Development Authority. We're doing an outstanding job with workforce development. In fact, when I was on that board, we took the what unemployment at that time. When we took over, it was 13.8. We got it down to 3.7. I think it's up around 4 right now. But we did that because we understood that human capital was very important. If our people, in Clayton County aren't working and making a livable wage, uh, we're going to continue to struggle, man. And one more thing before, I know you want to move along,
Nah, do your
but
thing.
hey, you know what? I never owned a business, but this is what I've been able to do. On the Development Authority, I was able, along with my colleagues on the board, give $1.5 million to business owners in Clayton County. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. We have a responsibility and a duty to our community. When
Mm-hmm.
we, when we rise to these positions, we got to do something. We have to produce, man, because our people counting on us. If you're in these positions, you're not producing, then you need to go. We need to cut you loose. You know? So
Because what's the
that's
point of you being there?
what I've been doing. Hmm?
I say, what's the point of you being there if you're not gonna? Because I think what people forget, and I kind of fell into this as I was starting my journey in politics and community organizing, is you run across, you're like, oh my god, this is a commissioner, oh my god, this is a state representative, not realizing that literally as a constituent, you are their CEO. They are community servants, like they work for you. And I
Yeah.
think that's the part that when you talk about educating voters and stuff like that, you spoke on it with the accountability part, but it's like you are literally in charge of making those decisions on holding these people accountable. And like nobody's God, but they're not God. They're
You know what it's like for me? It's like you you don't know you have this account at a bank. You have all this money. You don't know it's there. But
Mhm,
once you find out, be like, all right, okay, now I'm gonna make some things happen, you know. And
mhm,
that's how it is with our elected officials too. Um, when you don't know, you know, you really don't care. But when you know your power, when you have when you sit in a when you when you're so frustrated because your struggle is so real. Like I said, um, you don't know where you're going to get the money for your groceries, you know, because you're not making that much because your car insurance went up. You're, you know, and because your car insurance went up, you may not be able to pay that utility bill because you need to have insurance to get to work.
mhm.
So your lights might be cut off. You know, I mean, these are the real struggles that people are dealing with, and our elected officials know of ways to help them, but they're not doing it. And so that's why when I say first, we need to know what the roles and responsibilities of each of our elected officials. And once we were empowered with that knowledge, then we do our research and see what have they done. Start going, when I say do research, I mean real research,
Mhm.
going to these meetings. You know, we have the board of commissioners meetings that meet every Tuesday. Go over there, you know, listen to some of the ordinances or some of the decision making that's going on over there that's impacting you.
Mhm.
Our school board of education, they meet on Mondays. Go over there, listen to the decision making that's surrounding our children.
They're not private. These are
Right.
public meetings.
Yes, and
Mhm.
you can watch it remotely. If you're not able to make it there physically, you can go online. You
'Cause
know,
we live in that society,
yeah.
and hence why we love doing the interview platform like we do right now. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page and follow the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus also as well, and hit that follow on my boy Drew as well. My bad.
But yeah, man.
But
But
yeah,
that
that's I think one thing you said that really hit was because that was really kind of like a setup to see if you were going to drop some bombs on us and be like, well, actually, I'm coming out and running for. But the fact that you were like, until we get that 90% involved, not doing it until we get more people involved. And for people who don't know, there's about roughly 180,000 people
mm,
registered to vote in Clayton County. And do the math. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a man behind the microphone. 10% of that come out and vote. And for you to come out and say, mm-mm, that's not my focus. My focus is going to continue to be the people, is going to continue to be making my community better. I have nothing but love and respect for that. So before we even get close to wrapping up real quick, I want you to touch on your affiliation with the Black Male Initiative and your role with them.
oh wow, man. Oh man,
Mhm.
the black
Your
male,
mom
my big brother John. You know, you we well, this was actually, I don't know if you know Hank Stewart, but he was the conveyor of this, the Black Male Initiative of Georgia, and then John, and then myself. You know, Holly. You know,
Representative Holly.
Holly. He's one of the original members. Uh, my brother Mike Carson. In fact, Mark Carson and myself were the co-chair of the police accountability and reform chair. But this is an organization that um, that is real deep in the community as far as bringing awareness to the issues from police accountability and criminal justice reform, our education, healthcare,
Mhm.
all those pillars that touch on Black America. That's what we. That's what we represent. That's what we work on. And matter of fact, we do a lot, man. I'm
I
just thinking,
trust
golly.
me. Trust me. Wait,
But,
I get the text because it's, if I'm not mistaken, if this you hold something every Monday. Am I correct on that one?
well, I've been traveling a lot, so I've been missing meetings, you know. But this is something that we
Work.
did. This is something we did, and I thought was really cool with Black Male Initiative. We were actually going into jails, registering uh, those in detention because most people don't know. You are well aware of this. Most people don't know until you've been convicted, you have not surrendered your right to vote. And so these people are in detention waiting for their trial. So they still had time to vote. So that's, we were into DeKalb, Fulton, you know, some others. But that's what we've been doing, going and registered, you know, those in jail, incarcerated, well, in jail, uh, vote.
I love it, man. I love it. So go ahead, spread the news, spread the word. If you are not convicted, you still have your right to to cast a ballot. So make sure you please
Yeah,
spread that word.
I'd like to add this as well.
Mhm.
Those who have completed their parole and probation and paid in full their financial restitution, they can be reinstated. Their rights to vote are reinstated, but they don't learn. They don't know that because they're not told that until people like us share that with them.
Yeah, you hear that a lot, especially canvassing. You
Oh
know, oh,
yeah,
I can't vote. I can't vote.
it's a unfortunately there's a lot of African American men going around saying, "Hey, I can't vote because I have a record." Ain't talking about no record deal. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
so we that's when I let them know, hey, you know, if you are no longer on probation or parole and you paid that restitution, my brother, you can vote. You can register to vote, and we need to get you there. So we, you know, you get the DA, the judge, the sheriff, you know,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
that's what.
love it. I love it, man. I love it. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I want you, though, before I let you go, I want you to go ahead and give a quick rundown of some shout outs or anything that you want. This your platform right now. Anything you want to shout out, show love to, boom, stage is
Oh,
yours.
there's a couple things that I'm working on with my team. One, you know, the weather is turning cold. And here in Clayton County, unfortunately, we do have a homeless crisis. You know, I mean, these are our neighbors, you know, turned out on the streets and have no safe and warm place to go. Fortunately, and this is what a leader does. You able to call, you know, your connections on the phone. I reached out to the good friend, the board chair, Jesse Goree, the Clayton County board chair, school board chair. I'm sorry, Clayton County School Board Chair.
School board.
saying that, you know, we have people in our community who are out on the streets, and we need a safe place for them, but we have none right now. And that's when she was like, hey, our students are out on Christmas break. Our the schools are empty. uh, let's pick a school and we send them there, and that's we were able to do that. And last year was the coldest winter in 5 years.
Mhm.
So that's the collaboration I was saying, that you don't have to have a title to do, but a leader is able to pick up phones and make things move. And that's what I was able to do. And we need to do that again. And that goes with holding our elected officials accountable, and not just elected officials. You have civic leaders who have the capacity to help. We have private businesses that we need to reach out to, and work in collaborations to help all of us. And so that's what a leader does. You don't have to wait for the title. You pick up a phone and you get things done. So
Mm.
that's what I'm working with, along with my friends, a few friends. Also, I want to speak quickly to another initiative you may have seen and heard about recently, is Teen Talk to Action. This came about because of what's been going on in our community, and statewide. You hear a lot of violence amongst our youth, whether it's gang violence, uh, the gun violence, in school violence, and what I learned recently is domestic violence. You have young girls as young as in elementary school who boyfriends are laying hands on them. And so we created this platform not only to for them to have a place where they can come together and vent, and talk about issues that impact them, but they come up with solutions. This is youth led, solution based initiative, and that's what been working on since January. In fact, we have a Teen Talk to Action um, summit coming up, and see this how Eric and I are collaborating too. My good friend Eric, um, working. Uh, he has an event the same day, and we're working together, and we're gonna you should see those flyers. I think Eric already been posting them. So it's a Team Talk to Action, working in collaboration with uh, I think it's Chris, for the gym on Terra Boulevard. So please,
Mhm.
that's another way that friends work together, man, to help our community. But Team Talk to Action, you're going to see a lot about that.
Mm. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna be there to support it. I want to have everybody make sure you follow Drew on Instagram to make sure you're keeping up with the team talks and everything that's coming up, and just staying in loop. This is a great brother, great brother. I guess the Q dogs, they taught him, they do they do, they just trained up what was already in there. But I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode here of the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus, labeled now podcast. You may follow us on Instagram at YDGBLCK Caucus on Instagram. And please stay in the loop. We'll be going live with some more great community leaders. And please, again, hit that follow on Drew Andrews. And we're going to see y'all next time, man.
I'll see you in the streets.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Drew.
All right, peace.
Peace. Let's go.